Hello and welcome back. I'm Thomas Porteous and you're watching NewsX World. Israel's military has begun a new round of airstrikes targeting military positions in western Iran. Explosions have been reported across Israel, including in Tel Aviv, Haifa, Nes Ziona and Rishon LeZion. Meanwhile, Iran is taking its grievances to the United Nations, demanding an emergency Security Council session. Iran's ambassador accused the US of illegal use of force and called for global condemnation. Iran's foreign ministry warned that continued silence by international bodies risks unprecedented danger and vowed to resist US military action with all its might. We're now joined by Adrian Calamel, who's a terrorism scholar located in New York City, USA. Adrian, given this even 6 massive ordnance penetrator may not destroy every tunnel at Fordo, what objective evidence would satisfy you that the nuclear threat is neutralized here in regards to Iran's nuclear capabilities, rather than just merely delayed?
Question, Thomas. With Fordo, we're still going to need to see battle damage assessments, but the Trump administration seems pretty convinced that the bunker busters that were sent in there one after another were able to damage the all the centrifuges there. Now with Natanz, that's another one where there was basically 14,000 centrifuges underground, and they're pretty certain that they eliminated those. Isfahan was another problem area, but there are still places that Israel cannot hit, the United States cannot hit, and they should not hit because of the fear of a nuclear contamination, such as the Bushehr reactor. But this sets it back. I mean, that the Fordo was Khamenei's crown jewel in his nuclear program, and moved towards the bomb, and now it appears to be gone.
Yes, as you said, Trump says Fordo is gone, but Iranian TV shows limited damage. How much weight should policymakers give to Iran's own imagery and IAEA inspections before launching any follow-up attacks?
Yeah, well, with Iranian state TV, you got to remember this is IRIB, which is also being coined as terror TV. You're not going to get accurate reporting on there. It's not a reliable source, nor is press TV or anything that's coming out of there. And quite frankly, I wouldn't blame the Iranians for trying to conceal the damage done there. It only makes sense for them to do that. They did say that there is no nuclear contamination there, and I do believe them on that, because that was generally the assessment, that you would not, with that strike on Fordo, you would not have that issue, even though it is near a relatively populated area, home.
Yes, and Adrian, overnight missiles reportedly were intercepted over Jerusalem and Haifa in Israel. We've also seen proxy groups like Hamas and the Houthis condemn the US strikes today. But if Hezbollah and Iraqi militias now open secondary fronts, which is possible, does Israel still have the bandwidth to manage Gaza, Lebanon and Iran simultaneously without wider US ground commitment?
Yes, I absolutely do believe they have the ability. I don't know. I mean, these are all questions that's going through everybody's head. Is Hezbollah going to throw its weight in behind this? They were kind of sacrificed on the altar. Are the Iraqi proxies that are operating there, Badr, are those groups going to say, you know what? The Islamic Republic really isn't worth it here. Let's take our little fiefdom and let's hold on to that. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do, and if they decide to retaliate, and who do they decide to retaliate against? Is it against Israeli interests or is it against U.S. interests?
Yes, and Adrian, Washington has struck a safeguarded nuclear site inside a UN member state. How do you answer critics who say this erodes the very non-proliferation norms Israel depends on to keep its neighbours from going nuclear?
Well, they've violated the NPT over and over again. Fordo wasn't discovered until 2009, secretly built in 2006. That's the most dangerous site, and wasn't discovered until there was a contamination site there. They are the only country that would be able to enrich and reprocess and possess a nuclear weapon. So that's kind of that's kind of the situation. That's what we're stuck with here, and the regime needs to have this nuclear, and the IAEA, they were found in, right before this happened, they were found in breach. Go through Emmanuel Grossi's reports over the years. That's where a lot of these assessments are taken from. We're supposed to have transparency with the monitoring. There has been not a lot of transparency. At times they have taken cameras and held them basically hostage so they cannot even view the video. So there hasn't been trust, there hasn't been verification, and the IAEA has finally come out and confirmed that. So they can't, the IAEA is there to verify. They're not there to kind of look at intent. But what they're seeing is, when you're enriching up to 60%, that's not for peaceful purposes.
Adrian, thank you very, very much for joining us once again.
Thank you.
Iranian media has reported that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has said that its latest missile strikes have targeted Israel's Ben Gurion International Airport, along with research facilities, support bases, and multiple command and control centers. The strike involved both long-range liquid and solid fuel missiles. We're now joined by Ali M. Bushback, who is an independent Palestinian researcher. Ali, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I want to first get your reaction to the strikes by the United States and then the consequential back and forth strikes that have occurred due to them. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Thomas. In fact, it's surprising that this morning that American target a free function of a nuclear weapon in Iran by GBU 57 bomb. Everyone got shocked, especially Donald Trump. He was negotiating with Iran to reach out for some deal and agreement about the enrichment uranium. So the things is, this is by the way, it's not the first violation by American towards Iran, and it's not first attack, because in January 2019. Also, Donald Trump, during his administration, he targeted the supreme leader of Failaq al-Quds in Iran, and the Islamic Revolution Guard, Qasem Soleimani, in Iraq. And Iran took the retaliation by assassinated and targeting some bases in Iraq and in this region. So Iran giving the limited response toward the American strike against Qasem Soleimani, and its brigade in region also involved in this conflict and this wave of conflict, like Islamic group in Iraq, as well as some group in Yemen. So especially Ansarullah Abdullah al-Houthi. So the thing is, I guess Iran was ready for this step, and has expect the step from Donald Trump, especially during last 3 days. He was giving releasing some statement that he will target the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini, and Ali Ayatollah Khomeini. And he's, by the way, he's not the only supreme leader for Iranian people or Iranian nation. but he considered as the supreme leader for all Shia, and Shia is disseminated in all the region, in the all area, as also in all the world. Sorry. And here's also the Russia, the day before yesterday, warning America for this step because it will spark a war in the area and the chaos in the area. So I guess the retaliation from Iran, it will be limited, and I guess they will think about a mature response about American targeting. And also we have witnessed the day yesterday night how much it was tough toward Israel, and how many the size and the huge destruction in Tel Aviv and Haifa and Akka, it was unrepresented before, and we have witnessed the scene how much the destruction, the level of destruction, which make Iran giving a more and a more evidence that Iran has some power and has some weapon could be target Israel. So in my opinion, Iran now in the toughest place decision about giving retaliation toward Israel, American attack, or they will acting like a mature and they will tolerate it easy with the less consequences. In my opinion, also the American Iranian brigade or Iranian proxy in the area, may they will involve in this conflict. Yesterday, one of the leader of Islamic Guardian, Islamic Revolution Guard, he said that their friend, or he called it friend, but their proxy, they asked Iran for involved in this wave or this escalation, but up to now Iran rejected this request, and they consider it as their turn for this war and this escalation. As well as today morning, one of the leader of Iranian Revolution Guard, he considered now is the war is begun, which I mean it's up to now it's not clear where war to whom, about to whom. I mean, war with Israel or war with America or regional war, he considered it, which make it the scene is a bit flaggy and a bit complicated. Is going to withdraw the area, all the region, pulling all the region toward war, or it's going just only toward Israel alone. Yeah, Tom.
Yes, and Ali, is there a risk of regional spillover here? We've seen Hezbollah and Hamas, not Hezbollah yet, the Houthis and Hamas respond to this. The Houthis are saying that they will target American ships in the Red Sea as relevant targets. Now, given the military capabilities of Iran, is there a chance that Israel will be defending their front on even more angles now, and from a more severe barrage of attacks by both Iran and their funded proxies?
As I mentioned that the leader of Islamic Revolution Guard, he mentioned that their proxy, they asked them to involve in this violence and in this war, but they rejected up to now. So I guess also Hezbollah, it's diminished up to now. So I guess Hezbollah will not join in this wave of conflict. Ansarullah al-Houthi, they will join, and they mentioned it many times. Last week they mentioned that they will not leave Iran alone, as well as Hamas obviously devastated in Gaza and diminished in Gaza with the limitation operation against Israel in Gaza, because the ability of Hamas in missile, it's over now. They don't have any missile up to now. I guess it's done. So maybe they will involve also some proxy from Iraq, that Islamic movement or Islamic militant group in Iraq that backed by Iran, maybe. And up to now, Iran, I guess now in tough place. Either they will let their proxy to join in this conflict and this wave of conflict, which make the regional burn or they will acting like mature with the limitation of response or retaliation. I guess Iran, they will think very well, and they will not be acting like a child, or acting a mature person. I guess Iran nowadays took the hard lesson, and they can understand the serious of the situation, as well as Iran couldn't do any stage of waving the war or letting its proxy to a target American based or American things in the area without back from its ally like Russia and China and maybe Northern Korea. Because this time it's crucial not for Iran in all the region, especially we are witnessing that situation. It's escalating incredibly. We can't imagine what is going. So I guess Iran in tough place, and but there is a limitation toward Americans attack. That's my in my opinion, and what I'm thinking about, because Ansarullah al-Houthi signed an agreement with America last 2 months. They will not targeting American ship, and they will not close the sea. I mean the Arab Sea. So I guess nowadays it's complicated to understand what is going, but also there is a limitation, I guess, toward the attack from America.
Yes, Ali, please stay with us. We've got some information coming in. The UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has urged Iran to return to the negotiating table, advocating for a diplomatic solution to resolve the ongoing crisis. He emphasised that the situation in the Middle East remains highly volatile and regional stability is crucial. Starmer described Iran's nuclear program as a grave threat to international security, stressing that Iran must never be allowed to develop nuclear weapons. He commended the United States for taking action to mitigate the risk, underscoring the need for continued international cooperation. Ali, what are your thoughts on that? Do you see Iran moving back to the negotiating table after these unprecedented strikes by the United States?
I guess in this time or this moment, I can't imagine that, and I guess Iran, it will not go to return to the negotiation table or diplomatic solution, especially after Israelis and American hit. So the thing is, make it this strike and make it more complicated. And there is a Gaza as example. When Benjamin Netanyahu, he resumed the war in March on 18 March 2025, he said that Hamas will put military pressure on Hamas to accept the negotiation and the deal. But up to now, Hamas rejected all the deal, and up to now, the things in Gaza, it's more complicated. And same mentality like Iran. Iran will not be on the table of negotiation, and simultaneously there is a bombardment and there is a military attack on their lands or their area. So I'm not sure that Iran, they will accept this proposal and return to the negotiation table under the attack, especially after the American attack make it more complicated now. This is in their mentality, and this is one of their beliefs. If Iran return to the table, that it will be like a catastrophe for Iranian regime, and it will embarrass Iranian regime about their ability and their power, because Iran also trying to be as a powerful country in the area, and it will be especially their will to have a nuclear and enrich the uranium. But also on the same time, on the other hand, Iran many times emphasized that their nuclear and their nuclear program, it's a peaceful. They will use it for power. They will not use it for as a weapon. So I guess things is more complicated up to now, and Iran is not going to the negotiation table again, especially at this moment.
Yes, Ali, Ali Emma Bushback, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. We have some more information for you now. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that his pledge to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities has been fulfilled, following strikes carried out in perfect coordination with the US military. Take a listen.
זוכרים שמתחילת המבצע אני הבטחתי לכם שמתקני הגרעין של איראן יושמדו בדרך זו או אחרת. ההבטחה הזו קוימה. לפני זמן קצר, בתיאום מלא ביני לבין הנשיא טראמפ, ובתיאום מבצעי מלא בין צה"ל וצבא ארצות הברית, ארצות הברית תקפה את שלושת מתקני הגרעין של איראן, פורדו, נתנז ואספהאן.
We're now joined by Miri Aysin, who's a geopolitical expert, and he's located in Tel Aviv. Miri, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. This whole situation is moving at an unprecedented rate. We saw the strikes occur this morning at about 5:30 a.m. IST, and now we're seeing retaliatory strikes between both countries, Israel and Iran. What are your thoughts on the current situation?
I'll surprise you with my woman's voice. It's she sitting in Tel Aviv. Good morning to everybody. I'm sitting in Tel Aviv. We had a big siren a little over an hour ago. I don't like the term retaliatory strikes. Israel has initiated a campaign. The United States has joined in, and this is against the Islamic regime and what they have been doing for over 20 years. Right now, Iran is still showing that it certainly has capabilities that they've been building for so many years. We're all aware of that. The United States of America joining in attacked the nuclear facilities themselves. So right now, from where I'm sitting, that if that was, and I don't want to belittle, right now there are sites inside Israel that were hurt, there are buildings that were hurt, there were people that were injured, but if that is what the Islamic regime through the Iranian Revolutionary Guard air and space capabilities can fire at Israel in the aftermath of the United States bombing out of existence Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, as you said before, then I think that we have built both our own defense system, but also we've shown in its own way that you cannot just bluster in that sense. Iran, they exported their capabilities to the Houthis, to Hezbollah, to the Shiites in Lebanon. They exported their ideology, missiles, rockets, and capabilities to Hamas, Islamic Jihad. They've been doing that for the last 20 years. They've been building the nuclear capabilities. And I'm sitting here in Tel Aviv. I'm not happy with what goes on, but I am very, what can I say, almost, I want to say satisfied, but that's the wrong word. I'm accepting to the fact that there's attacks into Israel, but the bulk of them we have defended. And what is happening right now is the destruction, systematically, of these nuclear capabilities together with the platforms. It's not just that nuclear capability. Israel has been attacking the platforms, and in doing so, taking away a threat that has been over my shoulder for the last 20 years. For 20 years, I've been threatened directly by the Islamic regime. Khamenei, including in the last few days, consistently threats our annihilation. And to attack that and destroy that, to me, is to take away the capability from from a regime. This isn't about the Iranian people, and my heart goes out to the Iranian people. But this regime that's ruled there for 45 years, and it is Persian speaking, and it's based inside Iran, has called for our annihilation, has actively sought nuclear weapons, has attacked us through proxies for so many years, and now it's being shown that you can't just do that and nobody touches you. And in that sense, I'm happy. Again, I don't like war, but I'm happy that this isn't about succumbing to the Iranian threats. Rather, it is facing them and taking them out, as I hoped we would do so, and I'm glad that we've done so.
Miri, first of all, I'm glad you answered my question that you're satisfied with the outcome of these strikes. So if so, what's next? Donald Trump has ruled out assassinating, well, there was reports that he vetoed an assassination plan for the Ayatollah Khamenei. If the regime is toppled in Iran, how will that country be supported? We've seen instances of a political vacuum and causing even more problems in that region if that does happen. So what's the next move, essentially, is what I'm asking, or in your opinion?
So first of all, just even to the question itself, so it was better having the Islamic regime that pursued nuclear weapons, that built its proxies up, that deployed terrorist targets all over the world, including in the UK, in all sorts of different sites. That's okay, but in trying to attack this regime, it's not okay. To me, that's part of the challenge, because I'm not against the people of Iran, and I'm not the one who is going to define what their regime will look like tomorrow morning. But the idea that because we're more afraid of the vacuum, that we should not attack all of the different components that gave them power and strength, I'm going to disagree with you. I think that the way I would frame it is that when you have a regime that openly calls for the annihilation for another state, we've never called for the annihilation of Iran. 86 million people ever. We're talking about what the, again, regime itself has built and stood for. All of the targets that we have been targeting, Israel and the United States when they went against the nuclear, are the targets of what they were the Islamic regime, were trying to export to the world, threaten the world, use physically against the world. And the world keeps telling me nuclear wasn't yet there. They've been firing rockets, missiles, drones, and capabilities at Israel, certainly for the last 20 months and much longer, through the proxies and directly. So for me, to your question, in the day after, the Iranians will have to face what they want to be. Is the most important part about the Iran, the 86 million people, about annihilating me? Is it about annihilating Israel as a country? Or is it about building a very strong, wonderful 2,500 years of history Persia? I don't get to answer the question of what happens thereafter. Am I allowed, I say as Israel, to impact what that regime has built to be used against me? To me, absolutely. And I say it very clearly because I really do feel that everybody is tiptoeing around the Islamic regime's threats. And I am one who absolutely thinks that war is bad. I am very, very challenged by the way that Israel runs the war against Hamas. Not about the war itself and what Hamas did and our hostages, but about the way it's done. I think it's terrible when civilians die in war, in every war. But I do not think that the Islamic regime of Iran should be shown as being better than anything after that. It's been such a destabilizing factor throughout the Middle East. It's threatened everybody. It's threatened the United States, the UK, France, Germany. Don't step in, we're going to attack you. What kind of country does that? And I state that because we have been targeting in the Islamic regime targets the nuclear, the missile caches, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, which is the one over the missiles and the drones, in a very clear-cut way. So yeah, I'm going to hope for the Iranian people, but at the end, it's really not up to us.
Miri, I want to move on to the possibility of proxy involvement now. Some news outlets are reporting Hezbollah obviously holding fire for now. They haven't released a statement yet. Does Israel view that pause as a deterrent success or a sign that Tehran is synchronizing a broader multi-front response that you may soon face alone if the United States doesn't continue to be involved in this conflict?
For me, the timing of the beginning of the Israeli campaign of these last 10 days had to do with the fact that we had been attacking and destroying Hezbollah's capabilities last year, September, October, November, until Hezbollah sued for a ceasefire. Hezbollah's 150,000 rockets were supposed to be the Islamic regime, Iran's response, if anybody would dare to attack on Iranian soil. And Israel dared to attack after we destroyed those Hezbollah capabilities. They Hezbollah still have capabilities. They have rockets, they have missiles, they have drones, and not just in the last 5 hours since the US attack, but in the last 10 days, they haven't used them. Yes, they are deterred. Yes, we are continuing to attack. I mean, not under the radar. Israel is continuing the campaign, not just against the Islamic regime in Iran, but also against Hezbollah's capabilities in Lebanon. We have continued to attack them overnight and this morning. We're on high alert, but we're on high alert right now on all of our borders, both the northern border against Hezbollah, but also our eastern border. And the reason is because Shiite forces may decide to get onto pickup trucks like Hamas did and come from Iraq, let alone from Iran, and swarm over to Israel. To get to us, they have to go through Syria, they have to go through Jordan. I want to hope that we'll all stop that there, meaning we definitely are on alert, and I definitely think that we've deterred Hezbollah. I'm going to apologize right now. I need to drop off. I had said up front that I have to go and teach, so I apologize. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Miri Asin, thank you very, very much for joining us on the programme. We have some more information for you. Iranian media has reported that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has said that its latest missile strikes have targeted Israel's Ben Gurion International Airport, along with research facilities, support bases, and multiple command and control centres. The strike involved both long-range and solid fuel missiles. If you're joining us, we are covering the ongoing situation between Israel and Iran. This comes after the US struck 3 nuclear sites inside Iranian territory. Donald Trump said the strikes completely obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities and tells Tehran to make peace or face far greater future attacks. And so far since then, we've seen missiles and drones fire between both of the states. Iran's foreign minister has condemned the quote outrageous strikes and warns of everlasting consequences. In regards to these US strikes, they were partaken at the night at about 5:30 this morning IST. In the sites, no increase in radiation levels have been detected. This is coming from the UN's nuclear watchdog. We've had some world responses to these strikes. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the strikes, saying that there's possible escalation and has told the situation to de-escalate. We've also had a tweet from Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on X. He states that the United States, a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, has committed a grave violation of the UN Charter, international law, and the NPT by attacking Iran's peaceful nuclear installations. The events this morning are outrageous and will have everlasting consequences. Each and every member of the UN must be alarmed over this extremely dangerous, lawless and criminal behaviour. We have some more statements coming in. Both Australia and New Zealand asking for de-escalation. That comes from their government spokesperson and their foreign minister. And we also have a message coming in from the Mexican Foreign Ministry also calling for de-escalation. Donald Trump obviously addressed the nation this morning at 10 a.m. ET. He called the strikes a huge success and said the sites that were targeted have been completely obliterated. Now, we've seen Iranian state TV, which contradicts some of these statements, and we will continue to bring you more on this developing story as it goes on. Well, that's all we have time for. Please keep following us for more on this developing situation in the Middle East and keep updated with us for more international news. Thank you very much for joining us.